Howdy folks, it is a cold Friday, November 29th. It's about 5:20 p.m. and the temperature is around 0 degrees Celsius. And I am standing here on Chaplin Crescent, right across the street from Davisville Station. There's my trusty move-in mini folding e-bike. And a train has just rolled up to this third platform here. If that one's going into service, it would most likely be heading southbound. But you may have noticed I've got my helmet on me and of course the bike. Well, of course you noticed. And we'll get this thing turned on here. And importantly, we'll get the front and rear lights going. And in this one, I'm going to be riding down the Yonge Street bike lanes south and then going west along the Bloor Street bike lanes over to High Park, where a critical mass ride and rally is taking place. And that's in response to the province's passing of Bill 212, which threatens to take away many of our life-saving bike lanes. And I posted a video about that earlier today, and I'll link to that down in the description. That's the intersection of Duplex and Chaplin right there. And this train seems to be just chilling there, so I'm not sure what's up. But I'm going to get the camera mounted up and we're going to get going. We'll be a little light on the political talk, as when I get to the rally, there'll be plenty of that, as I plan on live streaming it. All right, let me get set up here, throw on some gloves. We'll get moving through this cold weather for, I think, about 10 kilometers or so. But first, get a view of a southbound train rolling in. Okay, I believe I've got things more or less set up correctly. I'm just walking the bike now. And when I get to Yonge Street, which is coming up, I'll hop on the bike and we'll start pedaling south. South we go in these controversial Midtown Yonge Street bike lanes. There's a pretty fierce wind right now. I do have my brand new DJI Mic Mini hooked up, so if all goes to plan, we'll be using that. That lady could not have been any less visible crossing the street like that. I think this ride should take about 35 minutes or so in total. And it's a good chance to utilize these bike lanes while we still have them. Well, truthfully, I don't think they're actually going to get ripped out. I know the Ford government specifically named them in Bill 212, but there is just so much fierce opposition from local residents against removing them. I can't imagine they go through with it. What I think they'll actually end up doing is ripping out the lanes west of the Humber in Etobicoke. Hey, that's a great place for a sign, right in the bike lane. Who's the idiot who thought of putting it there? Let's see what this sign says. Cyclists dismount and walk. There's a sidewalk on the right. I think they're preparing us for all this construction right here. Oh. Gonna have to hop in the lane here. We'll be back in the bike lanes in a moment. This is going to be a long, cold night for me, riding to Hyde Park and then the mass ride, which I think might be going west, and then riding all the way back. I haven't gotten out and taken any steps today, so in lieu of that, I'm going to do some pedaling. I've got this thing on the lowest pedal assist. Speaking of bicycle safety, earlier in the year, just on the other side of Yonge Street here, a rider was killed by a motorist. It's important not to use words like accident or struck by a vehicle, because that's not really the full story. They were killed by someone behind the wheels of a truck. Or I guess behind the wheel of a truck. Camera seems to like drifting to the right a little bit. I just tried to nudge it to the left. This is my new DJI Pocket 3. I've yet to record a cycling video with it. I've got my other camera set up for live streaming. We're going a cool 14 kilometers per hour now. So the rally starts at 6, and I think the ride starts at 6:30. There's a sight you never want to see. Headlights facing you. What are you doing? This is Woodlawn Avenue. To the right, the affluent Summer Hill neighborhood. Well, I guess to the left as well. There's a lit up Christmas tree at the Summer Hill LCBO. I did decide to double up on socks and put some long johns on, and I think those were wise decisions. I was reading a stat, I think since 2018, bike share use in the city is up 675%. And over 50% of the bike rides taken using bike share are on routes that the Ford government wants to rip out. Rosedale Station on the left. We are one stop away from Yonge and Bloor. We'll all be turning west. Let's look over at Rosedale. Undergoing some construction work as they install elevators to make access to the platforms accessible. One of the bird brain things the government said about removing these bike lanes is they ought to be replaced with routes taking side streets. Well, take a look at a map of Toronto and tell me how the hell I'm supposed to get from where I started, Yonge and Davisville, to Yonge and Bloor up ahead on side streets. No practical route exists. You could make the same argument for Bloor Danforth. Someone who didn't block the bike lane, and they also checked for cyclists before they walked in front of the bike lane. In the words of Zero Enigma, very good. This is Davenport coming up. And I could take that towards the junction and head south down to Hyde Park. That's got a bike lane for the most part. I think this is the coldest night we've had this season so far. Seems to be not so many people out and about. Not many pedestrians, vehicles, or people in the bike lanes. There's two over there, one of them on a bike share. So this is the end of the Midtown bike lanes. Unfortunately, they don't extend south. Although they definitely ought to, but at least they connect us to Bloor here. Tiptoe through the crossing. And it is west on Bloor Street West through the Mink Mile. Bloor Yorkville BIA always does a nice job of lighting up the area. We'll probably come across some other cyclists making their way to the mass ride. I think I'm going to leave this bike inside from now on. It's my preferred two-wheeled vehicle. So rather than keep it on the balcony all winter, I'll throw it in the walk-in closet. It folds up nicely, and I'll take it out whenever I need it. This is Avenue Road to the right, Queen's Park to the left. Never go right of a right turning vehicle. It's one way to get clipped. A number of cyclists were killed right around this intersection earlier this year. And we'll be going through that new Dutch style intersection coming up. It was the result of a horrific accident, or rather cyclist death in 2018. A flatbed truck driver hit a 58-year-old grandmother. I think I'm going to switch to my warmer gloves for the remainder of the night after I get to Hyde Park. This is St. George Street coming up, St. George Station just on the right. You can also access it from Bedford, the street before here. Are you guys going to the mass ride?
Yeah.
Cool. I just overheard.
Are you?
Yep. I'm gonna live stream it. Do you know, are they going west?
I actually don't know where they're going. I read on Reddit they might be.
I think the plan is to go to like Etobicoke, so it might be a long, cold one. Well, ride safe. I heard them mention Doug Ford and the biking lawyer. Just kind of figured they were on their way to Hyde Park. Should be making okay time. This is Spadina Avenue. Well, Spadina Road to the right, Spadina Avenue to the left, and we are heading through the heart of the Annex neighborhood. Then it will be through Koreatown and around Ossington. This is such a great neighborhood. It's interesting how the bike lane on this side is not protected, but it is on the eastbound side. And the e-scooter goes past. Technically, those aren't permitted in Toronto on public roads, but the province has extended the e-scooter pilot program 5 years. It really ought to just make them legal. I think any complaints regarding e-scooters or e-bikes or bikes in general just could be dealt by stepped up enforcement. Not that vulnerable road users should be targeted, but there's a general lack of enforcement, period, in the city for all road users. As we leave downtown, well, that lady is on a bike share with bare gloves. Same with this guy in front of me on this scooter. I have no idea how people ride around in this. Without keeping their fingers covered up. Mine are frozen. As we get to Palmerston, it's 5:46. I should be there more or less on time. I might not be able to stream in the very beginning though. It might take me 5 or 10 minutes just to get the stream up and running. This would have been a good day to try bringing out the old electric gloves that I bought a few seasons ago. You see a lot of these food delivery guys riding around at night without any lights on their e-bike. I think that's to save on battery. It's really quite stupid. By Koreatown.
Yes, ma'am.
We are not too far. Ossington Station, then Dufferin, Lansdowne, then Keele. And the one after that is Hyde Park. There's a lot of little dive bars and that sort of thing in this neighborhood. This is Ossington. Nice driving, bud. I don't know why. Every time I look down, it looks like my camera is slightly angled to the right. Maybe it's got something to do with the way I mounted it. Or maybe I'm just seeing things and it looks fine. I'll have to take a look at the footage later tonight. If this bike lane wasn't here, this would just be on-street parking. It's not like this traffic would be moving any quicker. Not that it's moving slow at all. As we get to Dufferin, home of the 29 Sufferin' Dufferin bus. So next stop, Lansdowne, then Kiel. What am I talking about? We gotta go by Dundas first. My brain is clearly misfiring. Here's Lansdowne, and then Dundas. A station was missing from the equation when I named them off earlier. As the runny nose starts to set in. This street is Symington. As we roll through the Junction Triangle, this part of the street here is in pretty rough shape. Here's Bloor Street West. Doesn't look like I'll catch the light. Someone else riding with bare hands. That's nuts. Give them a little nod for letting me go through. That was the closest I've come to needing to ring my bell tonight. Although I did almost get creamed riding to where I started this video. Moron in an SUV went out a turn at a four-way stop. He had a nice middle finger waving at him. It was one of those where he just rolled right through following the car in front of him. Look at all these cyclists that have appeared. I have a hunch where everyone's going. still showing full battery on the bike. This is the main entrance just up here. I imagine it's just in on the left here. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this ride to High Park.
If anybody needs bike lights or you see someone come in without bike lights, I got a few left, okay? Bike jacket. Just for my own personal
It's a camera crew. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do on YouTube, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. And look who we found.
Are you live streaming?
Not yet, I'm just doing a video.
Are you recording?
It's
I'm
Lizzo.
live. Hey, you got Johnny here. Johnny did an
Hi.
awesome video about this. He aired it today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so I just...
Wow, you put a lot into it.
It's-
How was your ride over?
Good, my fingers are frozen, but other than that...
I find the cold weather, and plus I'm wearing leggings and pants, so it's
Well,
harder to cycle.
I double socks, I got the long johns on for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching, and I'll put a link to the live stream down in the description. All right, guys. Yoink.